Hi friend, it's Misha. Welcome to one of our mini episodes where I share a story with you that has nothing to do with your life, but in a fun way helps you think about your life. I believe when we can look at our life in an abstract way, it can help open up insights about ourselves that we have never seen before. Let's jump in. Today's story is called The Blessing of Thorns. Sandra felt as low as the heels of her shoes as she pushed against a November gust and the florist shop door. Her life had been easy like a spring breeze. Then, in the 4th month of her second pregnancy, a minor accident stole her ease. During this Thanksgiving week, she would have delivered a son. She grieved over her loss. As if that weren't enough, her husband's company threatened a transfer. Then her sister, whose annual holiday visit she coveted, called saying she could not come. What's worse, Sandra's friend infuriated her by suggesting grief was a God-given path to maturity that would allow her to empathize with others who suffer. She has no idea what I'm feeling, thought Sandra, with a shudder. Thanksgiving? Thankful for what? She wondered aloud. For a careless driver whose truck was hardly scratched when he rear-ended her? For an airbag that saved her life but took that of her child? Good afternoon, can I help you? The shop clerk's approach startled her. I need an arrangement, stammered Sandra. For Thanksgiving? Do you want beautiful but ordinary, or would you like to challenge the day with a customer favorite I call the Thanksgiving special? Asked the shop clerk. I'm convinced that flowers tell stories, she continued. Are you looking for something that conveys gratitude this Thanksgiving? Not exactly, Sandra blurted out. In the last 5 months, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. Sandra regretted her outburst and was surprised when the shop clerk said, I have the perfect arrangement for you. Then the door's small bell rang, and the shop clerk said, Hi, Barbara. Let me get your order. She politely excused herself and walked toward a small workroom. Then quickly reappeared, carrying an arrangement of greenery bows and long-stemmed thorny roses, except the ends of the rose stems were neatly snipped. There were no flowers. Want this in a box? Asked the clerk. Sandra watched for the customer's response. Was this a joke? Who would want rose stems with no flowers? She waited for laughter, but neither woman laughed. Yes, please, Barbara replied with an appreciative smile. You'd think after 3 years of getting the special I wouldn't be so moved by its significance. But I can feel it right here all over again, she said as she gently tapped her chest. Stammered Sandra. That lady just left with no flowers. Right, I cut off the flowers. That's the special. I call it the Thanksgiving Thorns bouquet. Oh, come on. You can't tell me someone's willing to pay for that, exclaimed Sandra. Barbara came into the shop 3 years ago feeling much like you feel today, explained the clerk. She thought she had very little to be thankful for. She had lost her father to cancer. The family business was failing. Her son was into drugs, and she was facing major surgery. That same year I had lost my husband, continued the clerk. And for the first time in my life, I had to spend the holidays alone. I had no children, no husband, no family nearby, and too great a debt to allow any travel. So what did you do? Asked Sandra. I learned to be thankful for the thorns, answered the clerk quietly. I've always thanked God for good things in life, and never thought to ask him why those good things happened to me. But when bad stuff hit, did I ever ask? It took time for me to learn that dark times are important. I always enjoyed the flowers of life, but it took the thorns to show me the beauty of God's comfort. You know, the Bible says that God comforts us when we're afflicted, and from his consolation we learn to comfort others. Sandra sucked in her breath as she thought about the very thing her friend had tried to tell her. I guess the truth is, I don't want comfort. I've lost a baby and I'm angry with God. Just then, someone else walked into the shop. "Hey, Phil," shouted the clerk to the balding, rotund man. "My wife sent me in to get our usual Thanksgiving arrangement." 12 thorny, long-stem stems, laughed Phil as the clerk handed him a tissue-wrapped arrangement from the refrigerator. "Those are for your wife?" asked Sandra incredulously. "Do you mind me asking why she wants something that looks like that?" "No, I'm glad you asked," Phil replied. 4 years ago, my wife and I nearly divorced. After 40 years, we were in a real mess. But with the Lord's grace and guidance, we slogged through problem after problem. He rescued our marriage. Jenny here, the clerk, told me she kept a vase of rose stems to remind her of what she learned from, quote, thorny times. And that was good enough for me. I took home some of those stems. My wife and I decided to label each one for a specific, quote, problem and give thanks to him for what that problem taught us. As Phil paid the clerk, he said to Sandra, "I highly recommend the special." "I don't know if I can be thankful for the thorns in my life," Sandra said to the clerk. It's all too fresh." "Well," the clerk replied carefully, "my experience has shown me that thorns make roses more precious. We treasure God's providential care more during trouble than at any other time. Remember, it was a crown of thorns that Jesus wore so we might know his love. Don't resent the thorns." Tears rolled down Sandra's cheeks. For the first time since the accident, she loosened her grip on resentment. "I'll take those 12 long-stemmed thorns, please," she managed to choke out. "I hoped you would," said the clerk gently. "I'll have them ready in a minute." "Thank you. What do I owe you?" asked Sandra. "Nothing," said the clerk. "Nothing but a promise to allow God to heal your heart. The first year's arrangement is always on me," the clerk smiled and handed a card to Sandra. "I'll attach this card to your arrangement, but maybe you'd like to read it first." It read, "Dear God, I've never thanked you for my thorns. I've thanked you 1,000 times for my roses, but never once for my thorns. Teach me the glory of the cross I bear. Teach me the value of my thorns. Show me that I have climbed closer to you along the path of pain. Show me that through my tears, the colors of your rainbow look much more brilliant." I hope that you are looking for the lessons in these stories and looking for the ways that it applies to your life. If there's any questions or insights you have, don't forget to reach out. I would love to hear from you. You can DM me on Instagram at myfriendmisha. I'm here for you. I'm here for you to help you take a little bit of time for a mindset check that will alter your days and by so doing, alter your life. I'm here to remind you that in your life you have more power than you think you do by breaking it down and walking through it with you. And I'm here to help you feel encouragement radiating from your body to live the amazing life that's in front of you. Keep on keeping, my friends.